Welcome to Friar's Coach's Corner. I'm Sharon Skubla, and today we are speaking with the boys tennis staff. Head coach Curtis McCullough, head JV coach Janet Scannell, assistant coach Tatiana Rosmiela. Thank you for joining us today. I want to get right into your program. I want to get kind of an understanding of how long you guys have been here and where this program has come from. Janet, how long have you been with the program, both boys and girls?
The boys, I believe, is 13 years, and the girls, somewhere around 10. You just start doing it, the time flies.
True. And then Curtis, when did you come into the Friar family?
I came in 2017.
Okay.
2017.
Tatiana, you're the newest member to the Friar family. This is your third season, correct?
Correct. Yes.
Okay. And again, just trying to get an understanding of this program. Having the three of you here together, I think, speaks volumes about the program, its strength, its continuity, and the fact that obviously it's a growing program. Janet, maybe you've been with the program the longest. Can you tell us what you vision to be some of the differences on how this program is really starting to grow now?
I find when I first started, the tennis population was going down, where sometimes I didn't even know if I were going to have a team. And now we're at the point where we cut players. We have enough coming out to fill two teams, which puts us in a really good position because other Catholic schools, it's diminishing. They can barely, field one team, let alone two. So for us, it's growing.
And Curtis, being the head coach, kind of overseeing, all of it, what's going on, and a lot of communication with Janet. How do you see that this program has grown over the last couple of years since you've been with it?
First of all, let me start off by saying I want to thanks Coach Janet for her open arms. We came together like not only just as a team but as a family, and so is Coach Tatiana. So in going back to your question, I really feel like overall, we've pretty much set a culture that these boys just brought in from the beginning. So I think the rest was just history.
Definitely, you definitely can see the energy over these last couple of years. Your team has really grown fast. It's making a name for itself. With the two levels, Tatiana, maybe you can tell us a little bit, especially two levels joining together. How do tryouts work?
So with our tryouts, the one thing that we focus on is that no one's ever left out. We come in from the beginning and everyone's a family. That's the tone that we set, that everyone comes into this game and this team as in everyone's in it together. No one's, we're competing, but no one's at a level where they feel like they don't belong. Everyone's pushing themselves, and that's a really good energy that I think the entire team and us as coaches, we set really well.
It's good to hear, because especially, at St. Anthony's, the student body it's a large student body. It's a large school, 9th through 12th grade. And you're one of the programs that only has a JV and the varsity. There's no separate freshman team. So it's good to see that make sure that everybody gets an opportunity. Good to know. Curtis, how do you work the tryouts now between you and Janet when you go to separate these young men? Is it he's going to definitely play on varsity, or for the future he can start at JV and then you move him up? Like, how do you two coordinate that?
It's a very unique situation because I do feel we have a mixture of players, and what I meant by that is we have kids who basically one is return players from previous seasons. And then we have, a lot of upcoming players. So again, it's really, you've seen these kids, 3 months out of the year. So you don't know pretty much what they do for the rest of the year. So the big part of the tryouts for us is really kind of see, what the new players are capable of doing. And basically kind of, I wouldn't say from day one, we have an idea like who's going to be on which team. We have an idea from day one.
Now, this Friar program is really starting to make a name for itself. You guys are back-to-back league champions. Last year, 2019, you captured your title again. Can you say that's more about the athletes you're starting to get, the training that they're doing? How do you kind of contribute your success?
Well, I think it's a combination of both. We have very qualified players, but it's also the way the team is run, how they practice, how they work for it. Again, that team feel, whether they're JV or varsity. Varsity, my JV guys know at any point they could go up to varsity if the need arises. So they strive, they work, they do their best. It's competitive. You know, they're playing by ability. So you have 7 courts, you're going from top to the lower group, which is not necessarily low, but they're in a position to play other teams of comparable, you know, abilities. They watch out for each other. The kids, they do. We practice together. You have to understand, we have the same practice courts. Our matches, you know, Curtis goes to the Hamlet Country Club to play his matches. I'm at Terry Farrell Park. But practices are always together. And we watch each other, we work together, they work out together, they run together. It's a team. It's a true meaning of a team.
You know what? She said it all right there. She's so spot on. I do feel we have an amazing coaching staff, to be honest. You know, our coaching staff is, you know, from top to bottom. Obviously myself and Coach Tatiana as the varsity coaches, and then Coach Janet as the JV coach. So I really feel it starts with us, and I just feel like the kids, you know, really just picked up the rest. Because again, like I said, we have a culture that it's a unified, it's very unique. You know, it's very unique. You know, even during the tryouts, like I really feel like guys are pushing each other to become better players. So it's very rare you see that, you know, in a tryout environment type of thing. So that's what's really makes our program so special.
Well, with the continuity of the coaches, I mean, these kids really seem to enjoy one another, like you said, pushing each other. Can you talk a little about what they face in the league, like some of the other teams?
Coach Tati, you want to start off?
To begin, Chaminade right off the bat, it's like that another culture thing where Chaminade is one of our biggest competitors, and it's like I can't really explain the feeling, what it's like when we go to Chaminade and we play them, we have a match against them, or they come to us. It's like everyone is such in like a game mode, like ready to go, and it's just this feeling of like, let's go, you know, we want to, you know, give it to this team, and it's the feeling is just really, it's really good vibes. And always we go out to every single match, you know, just wanting, you know, to perform and, you know, to show who we are, you know, no matter who it is.
And again, you know, Chaminade is definitely a main rival for St. Anthony's, and you're even everything, even saying their names makes you go, okay, let's get it done today.
Right. And the boys feel the same way. Mm-hmm. That's who they want. Because it's always typically down to the 2 teams, St. Anthony's and Chaminade, whether it's JV or varsity, and it's always tight. It's not a given that one's going to win over the other on any given day. They have to bring their best.
It's definitely a match always going to see. It's nice to know. Now, you've talked about these gentlemen a lot. I know you're bringing back at least 3 individual and team champions from last year. Blake Brown, Coleman McNulty, Luke Cahill. I'm not sure if I left any individual champs out. Can you talk a little about them, Curtis?
Yes. You know, again, we had a lot of return players, you know, originally for this upcoming season, 2020. So the seniors, basically, I do feel like we have that brotherhood with, you know, with the players who have been on the team before. I just think really set the tone. They really, you know, they really bought in, you know, from day one. And like I said, from day one. And the thing that, you know, us as coaches that we admire about these players is one, they've been through it all. They've been through it all. They've been through all the, the different roller coaster rides, you want to name it. But the one thing I like, over the years, the growth, how they all grow as a player and how they grow as teammates. And that's something that, we admire day in and day out, because to me, it's not just, who's playing one, who's playing two. And I do feel like, they're all stuck with each other. So we had, Ronan, we had Brandon, we had Blake, we had Cole, and we have Luke.
Curtis, can you tell us a little about your senior players? Maybe start off about Cameron. Just tell us how these guys have contributed and what their style of play is like.
Cameron, without saying, is really a player. We all, the coaching staff, his teammates, all know they could trust him, week in, week out, because, he's just such an incredible competitor. He's all about his teammates, which what makes him such, a very unique leader. Again, there's so much more, about his style of play, because again, he gives you nothing. He's one of those players we call mean, very mean. So when we talk about him, playing wise, you have to, anything you get from him, you have to earn it.
Nice.
Because he gives nothing away. He's that kind of player. And, he somehow thrives on the pressure, without saying. We had two other guys who were going to be captain. One of those guys are Brandon Caden. Brandon is a leader, definitely is coming to his own, from last season. And going into this season, I know he was well prepared, to be in that role as a captain. And he's one of those players who, goes above and beyond, for a team. So, arguably, that's another player that surely all his teammates trust his leadership as well. And another player who surprisingly never seen this coming, that was going to be a captain for this season, it was Ronan McCormick.
Well, congratulations, Ronan.
And Ronan, he's a student of the game. He's one of those unique players. Doesn't really say much, but you could tell that he's locked in. When you're having a conversation with the team, he's there and he's taking everything. He's taking it all in. And it goes to show when you see him on the court. When it's showtime, he shows up. So he's without a question, he was going to be a good leader as well. Some other seniors we have Luke Cahill. Luke is very special, he's very special talent, very talented. I would say his fighting spirit, relentless mindset, and his energy is just so contagious. His teammates love him. Another player I'd like to talk about is Cole McNulty. Cole, talk about a player who's just fearless. He just goes out there. He trusts his instinct. He's one of those players that just, no backing down. He rises to the occasion, possess a big serve. Never really time his serve, but we know it's up there. At least, I would say 115 around there.
That's okay.
Yeah, 150 miles per hour. Yeah. Another player I'd like to talk about as well is Blake Brown. Blake Brown is, I would say, 2019 season, has really been one of those players, has improved tremendously, has grown to where was a lot more confident throughout the season last year. So coming into this season, he was one of those players too that I know was going to be a big year for him as well. And also, what's unique though with Blake is he's always putting the team first. Makes him so unique. He always put the team first, and whatever the team needs him for, he's always ready.
I mean, it sounds like you really have all the makings. You've got a guy who just makes you earn your points. You've got a young man who, has all the energy you need, leads by example with the strong serve, puts his teammates and really can rally everybody together. You really have all the qualities that means championship. So I can see where it makes sense that coming into this season, you guys definitely would have probably captured your third title.
Without a doubt. These guys are ready. The thing that really sparks me about these guys is they all trust the process. They put the work in. They don't worry about results because of that reason. They know the rest is history. All those guys, played a big role in our success as a team. And, And really, when those guys put on our uniform, I'm proud to know they're going out there to lay it all out. So, again, it's just that amazing feeling, just being around these kids.
With such a tight group of gentlemen, how is it easy to pick your captains?
Janet, you want to start off?
For me, I don't have a problem. For you, it's a big change. Yeah.
I guess.
What are some of the standards you're looking for now? Again, you've got quality athletes, they're tight knit. So when you think about those captains and those leaders, have you kind of started earmarking these are some of my requirements in order to maybe make it easier on yourself?
I think when you go about choosing captains, because it's a lot of, it goes beyond just say, oh, you're going to be a captain this year. I think it's a maturity. It starts with maturity. It starts with your ability to, just being responsible, and at the same time have the respect from your teammates. So for us, myself and Coach Tatiana, we kind of have we kind of envision who's going to be the captain. We have captain previous years as well. Obviously if they're returning. So it's not. I wouldn't say it's difficult at all. I don't think it's it's not.
Okay, and I know this year with things getting delayed, I'm sure that sense of who's going to lead still is important. I mean, still having the communication, having someone out there lead, even in this times, is definitely probably a very key aspect to the team this year. What I kind of like to talk about too is, all right, so they've got back-to-back titles. At this part of the season, late April, with May right around the corner, you would be going into your championship matches. What would have stopped, if anything, this team from getting their three-peat?
I would say definitely like determination and the motivation. We've seen from this team that they can pretty much win a championship whenever they want. If they put it, in here, and they can really do so much with everything that we work on, the persistence, consistency, and it just really shows in every single match, and we don't take anybody for granted, and Curtis does a really good job with setting that tone as, you go out to every single match and every game that you play with all that you got, no matter who it is. And that's what it's about. It's about, going out there with everything that you've built on for the whole season.
Curtis, what do you contribute these gentlemen, this fast rise of, to the season, knowing that, all right, guys, really, that's what we're gunning for is a title, our third one. What's the conversation there for you?
I do feel like, we have, the one of the things that really unique about, this group of guys, and like I said, it's the brotherhood, with constant communication with each other, day in and day out. Even with this whole Raw deal, we're constantly communicating. I do feel overall that, Coach Tatiana just hit on that. Once these guys are focused with our leadership as coaches, and knowing how much, we do believe in them. And again, they believe in themselves, and they know the work they put in, on the practice court, and the rest will take care of itself.
All right, so Curtis, I know we talk a lot about your season. And again, coming into the season, I was very excited to watch this team, and having the three of you here today was really exciting for me, just to kind of let everybody see how solid this program is. In this COVID time, we're giving our kids plenty of motivational conversations. But Curtis, for you, what's that motivational conversation taking place in your own head? How are you getting through this?
I'll start off by saying, just your love for this, your love for the game. They know how passionate I am about the sport. And I do feel, just motivation speech starts with, just that true passion. And I'm very, words could, I don't, it's not like I sit down and just like write these words down. It's just that belief, that inner belief, and just how much I believe in these guys. And, just knowing the work we put in, because to me, that's where it's all started. So we have a mantra, and basically whenever we just use we use these words, we say, let's go. They all know where we're coming from. So they know it's time to go. So that's just our mantra. Whether we always, it's not so much the long speech. It's just very simple.
It's good. Quick and to the point. That's a nice way to make it happen. Ladies, how about yourselves? Getting your own selves through this, little bit of quarantine time. How are you keeping yourselves motivated?
Me, I'm hoping for an end to come sooner than later. Staying, as away from people as I can, which I hope all the kids are doing the same, to try to put an end to this. A lot of binge watching. I hate to say it.
And Tatiana,
you, Tatiana?
Tatiana, I'm sorry, I know you are doing some classes, so you've got a little extra to keep yourself busy. What about your conversation with some of the young men? Are you guys kind of reaching out? Are they reaching out to you to say, hey, what's going on?
Yeah, a big thing is like videos and like social media stuff, like Instagram, where it's like we have like almost like a team profile kind of deal where, the kids can kind of see what's going on with each other, with the coaches, where like we can post like quick little skill videos or like little motivational tips and things like that of that nature, just to keep like the team atmosphere going. And it keeps everyone like on the same page in some way, even though we're not physically, picking up rackets and hitting a tennis ball with one another. It still keeps like a nice team environment in some way.
What's the first thing you would do when your team got back together?
I'm saying tryouts.
That's right. Were you guys in the middle of your tryouts or near the end?
Middle.
Yeah,
Towards the end.
yeah.
Towards the end. You said we say that. Yes.
Let's go all the way to next spring, 2021. Still got a three-peat on the menu?
Absolutely.
Hey, Coach Todd, do you want to jump in on that?
Of course. I don't see any reason not to.
I'm right along with her.
Good. And that's exciting, I think, about just looking into the future, is knowing that there's still a lot for this team and that they can go after. Nothing should really change. Like you said, you've built a solid program, solid coaching. You've got a decent core of kids returning. So, it's nice to see that they'll still have something very exciting on the menu for them.
Definitely.
Ladies and gentlemen, this was really a good time. I enjoyed learning more about the program, having the three of you together. It was nice to see everyone. So hopefully your families are doing well with the quarantine time.
Hanging in there. Definitely different. Everyone being inside and, just trying to make the best out of it. Getting outside as much as possible if you can. Just change up your scenery a little bit and just stick with what you got to do. If it's work, schoolwork, just try to get it done. And yeah.
Okay. Again, I thank each one of you for joining us. I thank everyone for watching and learning a little about our tennis program. FriarAthletics.org is our website for the school. So if you want to reach out to the coaches at any level, anytime, you can find their emails there. Coach Curtis, Coach Tatiana, Coach Janet, again, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Sharon.
Thank you
for having us.
Yes, thanks for having us.
All right, we will talk soon, guys. Have a great day.
You too. Bye.
Bye-bye.